All right, welcome to this next installment of, no, hang on, that's not going to work. All right, welcome to this next installment of Tech Talks in APAC. Today I am joined with one of my colleagues, John, but I will let him introduce himself shortly. My name's Stefan Gumpert. I'm a technical specialist here in APAC and lead a team of people. But today with me, I have John. John, give us a bit of an introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi, and thanks, Stefan, for having me in this conversation today. I'm pretty honored to be part of this Tech Talk series. So, for me, I'm John, one of the solutions engineer here in Autodesk, based in Singapore. Been in Autodesk for about 8 years now, and pretty much we are helping customers in our APAC region for their awareness of Autodesk solutions and helping them to transform different organizations more effectively through innovation or making them more productive. Pretty
Nice.
much, I'm a mechanical engineer by training, and I've been in various industries, been in manufacturing, done pharma work and healthcare projects. But right now, I specialize in BIM applications.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
look, I've been at Autodesk for almost 8 years as well. So we're obviously like-minded or enjoy what we do. Look, thinking about the industry and I guess major trends, you cover a wide range of countries in what you do, especially in the ASEAN region. Um, are you seeing any major trends or factors that are affecting what you do and how customers choose their technology today?
Yes, pretty much the COVID pandemic actually helped drive digital transformation in most of the organizations that I work with. Pretty much with the trends that we are seeing, there's a huge need in terms of integrated project delivery, or in Singapore we call it integrated digital delivery. And also there is a need for DFMA, or design for manufacturing and assembly, and sustainability. So these are the three major trends that I've seen so far.
Okay. So I'm guessing data is part of that conversation that you have when it comes to the digital delivery side of things.
Yes.
So, I mean, thinking about data exchange, for example, IFC, cloud, all that sort of stuff. I mean, how do you see data exchange, I guess, empowering customers today?
I see. Yeah, for our industry, the industry that we serve, it is very important for them. Um, to be honest, it's not everyone is actually using the same platform for design. So data exchange is very important. By doing a data exchange, it enables teams that doesn't utilize the same different design applications to be able to design or coordinate so that there is no confusion or reworks that are happening on site. So for us in Autodesk, we understand that this is a very important role in the construction industry. That's why we are a member of that Open Design Alliance, or ODA, right? And we have also joined the Strategic Advisory Council of Building Smart. So for us in Autodesk, we constantly certify our applications to adhere on these standards so that we are able to comply to data exchanges with minimal loss of information as much as possible. That's what I could say.
Okay, interesting. I mean, look, let's not assume that everyone knows everything that we're talking about here. I
Yeah.
mean, for those of people who don't understand what an IFC is or what IFC stands for, can you give us a quick explanation so that for people who don't know, they can have a good understanding of what IFC is?
Sure. I'll try to be less technical in nature and be layman as much as possible. But for IFC, it actually stands for Industry Foundation Class. So that is IFC. So this is a standard that was developed by Building Smart, and it is important to keep in mind that this is not a file format. So it is actually a schema that is meant for building data exchanges. So for building smart, they have this certification process where they get vendors to certify their applications or software. So for us in Autodesk, like Revit or AutoCAD, uh, we have to go through that certification process. And with that schema that we got certifications on, those schemas defines the functions or relationships of objects or entities. So imagine if you have a chair or a door, there is a particular reference to what its name in IFC and how it actually relates to the actual project, so that when it is being used to other design applications, they are using the same, um, I would say, terminology or definition as well, so that there's no loss of information. So in Autodesk, we support IFC in our design applications such as Revit, AutoCAD, Advanced Steel, Navisworks, and just to name a few in our AEC collection. And then we also support IFC in terms of our cloud applications as well, like BIM 360 and Autodesk Construction Cloud.
Okay. It sounds like a powerful file format for sure, but I mean, you're seeing any challenges with the use of IFC today? I mean, I'm sure it can't be all smooth sailing. What do you see there at the moment?
Yeah, definitely there are challenges, especially for users, like for example, like large file formats or large file sizes that IFC is being produced. So I think one of the main challenge is the lack of awareness about understanding what IFC is. So for IFC, it is really intended for coordination purposes, but not as a file exchange application or as a file data exchange or a file translator. It's not built that way. Although there is a new schema that helps you to do design exchange or design translation, but our Autodesk applications are not certified with it yet. So we would recommend that when you're using IFC, it is used for coordination purposes or as a link instead of importing that file. So when you do the importing file instead, there is a potential data loss that you might encounter. So when you use Revit as a file import, file link in IFC or as an export, you may need to actually define a couple of things within Revit so that you don't lose any data or any information that could be potentially lost. So in Revit, there are mapping options that is available that maps categories and IFC classes so that it actually defines the different um, mapping information about your Revit categories or uh, Revit models, or I would say families.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Look, I mean, sounds powerful. I mean, you mentioned earlier about our cloud products.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, cloud-based collaboration is a common topic these days, or what people, or what we at Autodesk call connected BIM, right? I mean, what do you understand as cloud collaboration?
Yeah, for cloud collaboration or connected BIM, as you mentioned, right? Pretty much it's using BIM workflows with the power of the cloud. So when you do BIM workflows such as collaboration or coordination, you literally use the cloud storage or let's say a CDE in terms of like collaborating or coordinating within different teams.
Okay. Again, making sure that, you know, people may not understand everything in this space. I mean, what does CDE stand for? Just, you know, for those people who may be new to this cloud stuff.
Yeah, CDE stands for Common Data Environment. So with the common data environment, it is intended to be the single source of truth or single source of information to be used to collect, manage, or disseminate information for different teams within construction groups, or let's say design groups, without the need of utilizing different platforms, or I would say collaboration tools.
Okay. And from a collaboration perspective, is it only for external sharing, or can it be used internally in an organization as well?
I would say it could be used for both. There are two. So if let's say you follow the ISO 19650 standard, there are separate containers that you have to set up when working internally and also externally. But to quickly answer your question, it can be done for both, because the intent here is that when you're working internally and sharing files externally within your organization, everything is accessed in one single source of truth or connected data environment.
Nice. I suppose that means if you're working from home, you can access the files, and if you're working from the office, you can access the files too, right?
Yes, that is completely correct.
So, I mean, what other benefits could people gain from cloud collaboration? I mean, today people are collaborating across servers inside their organization, but what other benefits does cloud collaboration provide for you?
Pretty much the reduction of using different platforms in order to collaborate. Um, Gone are the days that when you, let's say, use Revit, you have to export it out as a PDF file. You have to send this across through an email so that the other stakeholder may be able to provide their design insights. And then from you as a, let's say, a BIM modeler may need to open up that PDF file and then make those design changes in your Revit application. By using these newer technologies nowadays, it can prevent you from leveraging different applications. When you utilize different applications, data are stored in those different platforms. So when you're trying to search, or for example, trying to retrieve certain information, is going to be a challenge when it's being hosted in multiple platforms. And one of the main benefits that I could see here is that for us in Autodesk, we have direct links to the design applications as well. So when you create an issue, so there's a feature in our platform where you create issues, you can directly link it back to the Revit or BIM application.
Nice. So what you're saying is things like design reviews or documentation reviews, and then marking up bits and pieces to, I guess, communicate back to the team can all be done digitally in the cloud as well.
Yeah, so the eliminating the need of paper trail or paper process forms are all eliminated by using cloud technology.
I can remember back in the day, back when I was still in the industry, having to scan marked up drawings and may save them into PDFs and put them into a server somewhere, and then people ask me, where were they saved again? I guess ultimately all this stuff leads to, I guess, automating the processes and removing human error, which leads me to another conversation or topic of discussion around automation.
Mm-hmm.
From what I know, and I think I know you pretty well, the automation topic is something that you're quite strong in as well. But I mean, again, for those people out there who aren't familiar with maybe what automation can do for you, you want to share with the audience what is automation?
Yeah. Automation is a way to reduce manual tasks, or I would say eliminate the need of manual tasks, which usually takes like hours, if not days, to complete. So for some people out there, it's like a push button approach to complete something, right? Where traditionally you have to build that in order to have that one push button, everything comes up. That's automation.
So reducing human error or reducing the number of steps to complete a task.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if a customer today wanted to reap the benefits of automation, I mean, where would they start?
First is by doing automation, it is important to identify what is your use case of automation, right? So everyone will have their own definition of what they want to automate stuff. So for in our industry, pretty much for architects and engineers, automation can help engineers and architects to create conceptual designs or detailed designs in a much more faster way. It can automation can help interoperability with other platforms as well. And pretty much the main strength is the workflow automation. So if there's multiple steps that you have to perform, you can just simplify it by using automation. That leads you to actually generate different what if scenarios or simulations to come up with a final design. And by using automation, you can also perform like analytics and data visualization so that you can make better design decisions.
Nice. So, I mean, I have these conversations with customers from time to time as well. And the common response I always get is, I can't afford it. I don't have time to invest in automation. What would be your answer to that statement?
I would say that if they don't have the time, they would need to identify what would be the better use of their time, right? So they have to identify that use case.
Yep.
And pretty much by using like technologies that we offer, like Dynamo, it doesn't really require much of understanding the coding or using a programming language in order to build a particular script for automation.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I mean, the other one that I like to always think about too is that when you think about automation, I'm always writing automation for the masses in my business, right? So if I can save one person a minute a week across 200 people, that all adds up pretty quick, even if it takes me quite a while to do it. I mean, you mentioned something there. I'm interested to explore it a little bit more. Dynamo, a form of automation. What do you see there with Dynamo? What is it?
Yeah, Dynamo is one of our application that does visual programming. Visual programming doesn't require you to actually do actual keyboard programming stuff. So like with the likes of C++ or C Sharp, right? So those are the traditional hardcore programming applications. But with Dynamo, there are commands that are readily available for you to use. So in Singapore, we call it like Rojak, right? So it's like you have your own ingredients where you can just combine them together to come up with a different recipe. So for those who are food enthusiasts there, just put a Singapore pun there. But you can create your own custom scripts by using the nodes or commands that are already available.
Nice. So I do like the pun around the food. That's good because technically what you are doing is, like you said, you're cooking up a recipe to, I guess, streamline people's processes.
Yeah, and those recipes are already available. It's just for you to actually pick and choose which commands would you like to use. Yeah.
So, I mean, if someone wanted to get started with Dynamo, because, doing, let's say, C# programming, for example, is just a little bit too much, right? What would be your recommendation for them to get started? I mean, I'm sure you didn't always know how to do automation with Dynamo. How did you get started, or what should someone else do if they wanted to get started with this?
Yeah, even me myself, I'm not a programmer by nature, so I'm a mechanical engineer. When I picked up Dynamo, there are literally like hundreds, if not thousands, of different commands that are available there, and you don't have to memorize all. So what I would suggest that in order to get started, you have to identify your use case, and then from there, work yourself backwards on trying to find out what commands that will be useful to attain certain step. So that's how you can actually pick up the skill in Dynamo. Yeah.
So more of a, I want to draw a rectangle. Now, how do I draw a rectangle? Well, I've got to draw 4 lines to start with. I need points for each corner. So basically what you're saying is have the end goal in mind and then reverse engineer back to what you think you need to do to achieve that.
Yeah, correct. So traditionally, when you use traditional CAD or BIM applications, you need to understand the command and how to use the command afterwards, right? But with Dynamo, you have to think about what you wanted to achieve, and then you explore what type of commands that would be available in order to reach that goal.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so obviously that we can grab training from our resellers out there in the world of Autodesk resellers. But if someone want to do some self-paced education around Dynamo, where would people look to start?
You can actually go to dynamobim.org. That's usually that's the site for Dynamo, and there's there's a Dynamo primer where it actually covers a lot of like the basics or the fundamentals, and also the documentation on how to leverage on Dynamo. But at the same time, for any of our users who would like to pick up the skill, that's our role as a technical specialist, right? So we evangelize these workflows to them. So if anyone has any questions, just feel free to reach out to us.
And to be honest, this actually leads me to the closeout statement here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about three major topics today: data exchange via IFC, cloud collaboration, and automation. I mean, all three topics, you've obviously got a passion and interest here to these topics. I think if anyone's interested to learn more, your contact details will be available on screen to email you directly and ask questions. Look, with that, is there any thoughts you want to share with the public before we close the session out for today?
Yeah. Also do reach out to me in LinkedIn. Which the LinkedIn links will be available here as well. I usually post like cutting edge workflows that I personally work on or play around with. So I do regularly post some of those insights that I see, whether it's going to be a trend or some newer technologies or even Dynamo stuff. So those scripts that I personally work on, I post it in my LinkedIn profile.
Love it. Love it. All right. With that, thank you everyone for attending. And John, I'll see you in the traps probably in 2 weeks in Singapore in person.
All right. Thanks for having me, Stefan.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.